This is the first of a series of tutorials using Unity 6 to create 3D game environments and scenes. This is the hub of Unity, and when you install Unity, which is a free download and can be used free up to a certain threshold of income. So if you make a game with Unity that makes over a certain threshold, then you begin to pay. I'm not selling Unity, so I'll let you look that up. But it's useful for students and for beginners and for even small studios. This is the hub, and it launches the editor. So this is the hub. I'm going to hit installs and just briefly look. This is Unity 6.3, or specifically 6000.3.3f1. But all these this tutorial should work for all versions of Unity 6, which is significantly different from previous versions of Unity. So this is the hub, but I can create projects from here. So I'll go to my projects window, and I'm going to create a new project. I want to create a 3D project. This is Universal 2D, Universal 3D. Notice when they are selected, they get a blue outline, so I want to be sure that I've selected Universal 3D. This is the name of the project, and my project is the default. I'm going to call this Demo V601 because this is the first video. And I'm going to put it in a new folder. So this is a folder for my course, and I'm working on a particular project here. I'll go back to my course, Dig 310, Intro to Game Design, and we'll create a new folder. I'll right click in here for Windows. It's different in a Mac. I think there's just a new folder button, and choose new folder. I'll call this Demos V6. Okay, so then if I select that folder, I can say select folder, and that's where it should go live. It's hard to see it, but there it is, Demo V6. Alright, so I'll create my project there. I'll cancel this. And there you see my Demo V601 is being created. It is, there's the splash screen for Unity. It takes a while sometimes to launch Unity, particularly for the first time, so I won't make you watch this whole process on the video. This is what the project looks like. You can see it's still installing or loading, importing, compiling. But we're almost done with this process. I just wanted to show what it looks like when it first launches. Now I have a little window here you may not have, and I can get rid of that. So what you'll see is your scene. What is this then? Is that what this is? Yeah. Great. So you may not have this little icon, but this is my scene. There's a camera here. If I click on it in the scene, it highlights in the hierarchy. This is the hierarchy, and it shows everything in the scene. Here's the global volume, which is we're not going to be bothered by today. Here's a directional light, which is like sunlight, parallel lines of light coming from a specific direction. Here's the main camera, and that's it, the simple scene. When I click on main camera, it not only highlights in the scene, or if I click on it in the scene, it highlights in the hierarchy, but we also get this inspector, and so we can learn things about the camera, its position, its rotation, its scale. It has an audio listener attached and a universal additional component. So we can add components to the camera and other things like that. We're not going to do anything remotely like that for a bit. Here's the light. We can see things about the light. Down here we have our project window and our console. Console will show errors, and they should appear in like red text down here at the bottom, so watch for that. And if you see red text down here somewhere, click on the console and see your error messages. The project window contains the assets folder, and that's all we're going to be concerned with for the beginning here, but we'll also look at packages. And in the assets folder, our scenes, settings, tutorial info, input system actions, and a README file. So I want to create a new folder here because I want to get some characters in my scene. But let's first look at how we navigate in this window. Alt drag with my left mouse button, rotates the camera view. Alt middle mouse button pans, that brings the camera side to side, and then middle mouse scroll zooms in. Sometimes I find as I zoom further in, I get kind of stuck. I can't go any closer. I can pull out a bit, but even that gets kind of like I have to get traction first or something. I find that if I click on an object in the scene and hit F, it frames it. That means it puts it in the center, and then I can zoom in further. I don't know what causes that kind of like hesitation on zooming. So again, zoom is the middle wheel on my mouse. Alt left is the rotation, and alt middle mouse, not rolling but just holding down middle mouse, is the pan. So this is rolling the middle mouse for zoom. All right, so I want to create a new folder here. Right click anywhere in the assets, create folder, and I notice these are all capitalized, so I'll capitalize mine, and I'll call this characters. Try to spell that correctly. You can see it's an empty folder because it's got not white, it's just a outline of a folder icon. And I'm going to put characters in there. Let's go get some characters. So to do that, I'm going to visit a website. Here's my web browser, and I'm going to go to the Unity store. It's called Unity Asset Store. I just googled Unity Store, and I want some assets, or what, like they can be characters, they can be models, there can be all kinds of audio and other things. But I'm going to look for 3D assets, so I click 3D. I want characters, so here's my characters button. I want humanoids, so human-based characters, not animals or robots. I don't know. Actually, I am going to use something that looks a bit like a robot, a humanoid robot. And I've chosen 3D humanoids. So there are subcategories, but I'm going to look for the most neutral looking character because I'm prototyping. Prototyping is a system by which we begin to generate ideas. And if I choose skeletons, for instance, or fantasy characters, then I've already made choices that I may not wish to make. So I'm going to not choose any of these fantasy and sci-fi, but I am going to choose, notice that, like, here's a sale, $60, it's on sale. This one cost $18, but there are free assets. So I'm going to go, instead of sorting by popularity, to price low to high, sorting by the lowest price to the highest price. There's an artist whose work I've used previously. They're always free. I've never noticed anything that wasn't free from Kevin Iglesias. And this is a pair of characters, so I'm just going to click on that. Now this is going to show add to my assets here for you, but if I copy this and show it in a new private window, copying the URL, you can see it will say add to my assets. Okay, what did mine say? This is the add to my assets. Okay. Alright, so maybe that's what it says for you too. I'm going to add it to my assets. If it doesn't say that, it's this blue button, whatever it says. Yeah. Open in Unity. Open Unity Editor. As you know, I have one open, but I think it will recognize that I do. Then I get a new window. This is known as the Package Manager, and it shows the human character dummy that created by Kevin Iglesias, so that's what I want. Here's the import 2.0 to the project. I guess it's 2.0 human character dummy. So I'm going to import it to the project. That opens the import Unity package, and I could say I just want, notice that there are human character dummy models, human character dummy F, that's female, M for male. I could just choose one of these, but I'll get both. So I'm not going to unclick any of these, uncheck any of these boxes. I'll just import them both. And then I can, there we go. And then I can, here's Kevin Iglesias appearing in my assets. So I'm just going to drag that into the characters folder. Then nice Kevin Iglesias. I'll double click on this folder on human character dummy. I'm going to use, there are prefabs. There's a female orange and a male green, but I'm going to use the models, not the prefabs. So I'm going to go one back here. Okay, to models. And models are just human character dummy female, human character dummy male. I'll click on the female character, drag her into the scene, and there she is. Now I can see the camera here. If I click on the camera, this little wireframe, these white lines, show where the camera is looking and what it will see. So I'll click on my human and drag her forward a bit and to the side so that the camera will see her. And here's my game window or tab, and it shows me what the camera will be seeing, and there is my character. I want to rotate her around to face the camera. You can see that her feet show that she's facing away from us. So here she is in the scene. These controls are for the gizmo, or most of them. And this is the move gizmo, so I used it already to move the character around. The gizmo appears in green, blue, and red arrows. The red arrow is the x-axis, and we'll move it side to side. The blue arrow is the z-axis, and we'll move it also side to side, forward and back if you like. And the green arrow moves it up and down. But also, there's the rotation tool, the gizmo. And this green circle, you can see if I begin to move it, the character rotates. I'm just clicking and dragging. But if I look over here, I see the rotation is changed. This is rotation. And in the Y. So the Y is the axis that runs through from top to bottom. So she's rotating around that axis. And I know that rotating her around to face the opposite direction of the way she started would be 180 degrees. So again, here, now she's looking at the camera. I might move her just a little bit closer to the camera with the move gizmo. So there's the move gizmo, the rotation gizmo, the scale gizmo, and I can scale her up and down, etc. But I'm just going to Control Z to undo that. And there's a couple other tools. So now I can see she's well framed in the game window. So now I need to add some. I can do it different ways, but I like to add animations next. So let's visit another website. That website is called Mixamo. MIXAMO, if I'm not mistaken. It is an Adobe site. It has a lot of character animations, and they are free. So you do have to sign up with Adobe, but that is also free. So I'm going to log in. And here is a whole library of human. I think they're all human, animations. I need two to start with. I need a walk or run animation and an idle animation. And the idle animation is how the character will start in any case. So I'll get an idle animation. Here's the search bar, IDLE. And that just means kind of waiting around for something to happen. Some of them are more ready to fight than others. Some of them are quite motiony. Others are completely still. I don't know why I'm seeing... Let's see the skeleton. I don't know why I'm seeing this kind of naked mannequin, but I must have chosen it at some time. So here's an idle. You don't have to use female animations with female models, but this is a nice one, I think. Notice that I can use the same kinds of tools to rotate and zoom. This is a nice idle. You can see the character breathing. You see that across the shoulders and chest there? The hands are moving slightly. I can make some changes. I can bring up the overdrive. This makes the character just move more. There you go. So if I want to have a little bit more body motion, I can change the arm space. So that's more arm space. See that? That looks a little weird. And I can trim, I can make this longer or shorter. It should loop no matter what I do, but this looks fine to me. Actually, maybe I want a slightly longer one. Okay. I could mirror it so the character stands with the other hip cocked. There you go. The other foot forward. So that looks good to me. So I'm going to download this. Here's the download button. I want the FBX. I want with skin, although I don't need it, but I have in the past had trouble using animations without skins. Skins are like the body shape here. Frame reduction none, but frames per second should be 60. And so I'll say download. It's going to be important that I know where these are downloading to. So I want to put them someplace I know where I can use them. This is my pictures folder, but I have this course folder, my Dig 310 course, intro to game, blah blah, and then here's demos v6, and I'll put them here, not in the not because I want to use them in other versions or later editions of the demo. So I'll just put them right here. This animation. I'll get another animation now. I'll get a walk or I like a slow run. Although I can always slow down a run. Here's a treadmill run. I can slow it down. Overdrive, if I push it to the right, goes faster, but if I pull it to the left, it goes slower. Yeah. And that looks like a pretty good. That's like a slow walk or a slow run or a fast walk. I'll bring up the. I think actually it goes faster at some point. Is that what it's doing? Yes, I don't want that. I want a. I'll just say run. Here's a fast run. Here's a slow run. Slow run will do. Okay, so notice that this character moves when they run. I don't really want that. I'm going to control the movement with Unity. So I'll say in place. There we go. There's the character running. I could make them run faster. That's way fast. Or just slightly slower, huh? And arm space. I think I'll bring the arm space in just a bit. Oh no! Now the arms are passing through the body. So that looks good to me. I don't want the hands to get inside the abdomen here. That looks all right. And that's, I don't want to change the loop as distance or speed, the time. So I'll take this one, download. It should say 60 frames a second still from the last time, but if I come back another day, it'll say 30. So just keep an eye on that. You don't want 30 frames a second. Download. I'll put it in the exact same location. So this is my slow run. I'm just going to call it run. So I can change the name right here. So I have idle and run as my two first animations. Okay. Don't need to look at that particularly. And I think I minimized there's my project. So I'm going to bring in some animations into the scene and apply them to the character. Let's get, maybe I want a, in the assets, maybe I want a new folder. So I'll right click, create, folder, and I'll call this animations. And double click that to enter it, and then right click, and let's see here, import new asset. Go to my demos v6. Some reason it's not showing the run animation, but it's in there. It should be in there. There it is. So I don't know why it just takes a little while to show up. I'll get both of these and import them into my animations folder. Okay, I'm getting a little error. I have less than 1 gigabyte on the disk. That's not possible. Okay, so there's my run and my idle animation. I'm going to play idle first, so let's roll this down and look at what's inside. If I click here, I can see the inspector has some things I can check and alter. And they are, notice here it says mixamo.com, and it shows this little triangle with action lines. This is the animation itself. But I'll go back here to idle. I need to make some changes before I export this animation. So rig is an important one. Animation type generic. I need that to be humanoid. If you don't change this, your character will go into some kind of weird crouch and stay there. So if you're having a humanoid character, we need to make sure that it knows the rig is humanoid. I don't know why I can't just check. Animation, I want a couple of things here. I'm going to change the name here, but let's see. Oh, loop time. So the idle animation, when it's done, it should just loop. It should go back and start from the beginning. In other words, if the character is not being told to run somewhere or do something, she should just continue to idle. So I want loop time checked here. And I think that's all I have to do, except change the name. So mixamo.com, they're going to all be called mixamo.com when I export them from this little package here, unless I change the name. So this is idle, I-D-L-E, and I'll use the capital letter just like I do here in the package. And then down at the very bottom right, I'll say apply. If you don't hit apply, you may not change the name. And I didn't somehow. I'll try this again. I can see it still says there and here, Mixamo. So we'll try it one more time. I-D-L-E. And okay, apply now is apply is grayed out. I've noticed if I uncheck loop time and recheck loop time, still says idle now up there. I can apply, and now it should say idle over here, and it should say idle right here. So I have a rig that's humanoid, and I have a loop time on it, and its name is idle. Here it is in the package, but I can click on it in the package and use Command on a Windows machine, Command D. D is for duplicate. So there's my animation, and it is on the, I've duplicated it, it's outside the package. I'm going to drag this animation onto the character. So that's my character. Just be careful that you're not accidentally putting it someplace else. It's a little fiddly. So I'm going to drop it on my character. And now I can look in the animator, and I should see, yep. So here's my character chosen. If you don't have an animator window, it's under Window or Tab. It's under Window, Animation, Animator. and that's where you see it. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't show up at the beginning. So this says entry idle. What that means is when I enter the scene, this is a transition, and it will transition to idle. So we can test this, and I think this is the first time we've done this. I'll go back to the scene view. There's my character. Here's the play button. It will show me what the game window camera would see, but it should show me with the animation running. There it is. So if I stop it, this is called the ready pose or the T pose, and this is commonly used to show that a character is ready to be animated or ready to do things. And this is the animation applied to it. And you can see the hip is cocked, the shoulders are, not even anymore. There's a breathing animation going on. Let's look. In fact, we can look at the scene view and click play. And that'll take us into the game view. But I can go back to the scene view and zoom in. You can see the arms are not outstretched. We have play still running. The arms are not outstretched, and this allows me to zoom in and see the shoulders moving and some other things that are harder to see from this distance. So there's my first animation. It idles. That means she's ready to do something, and it loops, meaning that when it gets to the end of the animation, it goes back to the beginning. In fact, let's look at the animator real quick. You can see it running here. This blue status bar is showing the animation running, and if I click over here on the animation, and I can see the animation somewhere. No, turn this off. Here's my animator. Here's the idle. I don't see. I don't remember where that is. There's a way to see it running down here somewhere in the inspector, but we'll figure that out later. So this is the end of the first tutorial. On entry, the character goes directly into idle, and because of the way we set up this idle, it loops. It has a loop time. So that's what's going on in the play mode. One last little bit of information. Whenever you're going to make changes to anything in the inspector or when you start writing code, it's a good idea to turn off play mode. Here, I'll just turn it off, and we go back into the T pose, and that lets us know we're out of play mode. Okay, that's lesson 1.